Hey everyone, this is a quick video to go over a 2016 Toyota Highlander V6 3.5 liter ATF, what I'll just call a drain and fill. I'm not going to be cycling the oil through the transmission lines to flush it. I'll probably do that some other time, but this is basically just the drain of what's in the pan and refilling that, and then using the scan gauge for a temperature to adjust it to the proper level. So this is the first time this has ever been done. It's a brand new car. I'll just show you some parts here that you don't need, but I'll show you in reference. This is the transmission tube for the Toyota Highlander 2016 V6 3.5 liter. This is the tube for the adjustment of the level in the system. So the other thing that you'll have is this part, which you will take out with a 6mm hex head. This is what they call the overfill bolt. This is the 6mm. That's what basically you take off of the bottom of the pan. I'll show it here in a minute, which then allows fluid to drain up to the level of what it is at this tube level. And then you can remove this tube with the same hex, 6mm hex that this tube has on the end of it, which you can see there. And that's basically getting all of the fluid that's out of the pan drained. Now I did a brand new drain from a factory delivered car, and as you can see in this tub I got just over 56 ounces, probably 57 ounces if you want to call it, and that was draining it in the morning after it being sitting for approximately 15 hours level. As you can see, I have it up on car ramps, and I used a level on the pan itself to kind of see that it's level. The pan has a flat surface that works pretty well for that, and that's what I used to determine the car being level. I had to jack it up just slightly with the hydraulic jack. That's not going to affect the safety or anything, but I jacked it up maybe 1/8 of an inch to 1/2 inch, still leaving the wheels on the car ramps obviously, and having the back wheels chalked for safety obviously. But anyway, got the pan level, removed the 6mm overflow plug, drained out I think about 40 ounces at that point, then removed the overflow or fill level tube, the red tube here, and got the additional amount that gave me a total drain of 57 ounces. So 57 ounces came out. I put the tube back in, torqued it to 15 inch-pounds, put this back in. Didn't really torque it down because I'm going to be doing the drain procedure here shortly. So for all the simple folks who don't want to really complicate it with the temperature measurement, if you start with a car that has the proper amount in it, i.e. it came from the factory, my assumption is that they had the right amount in it, you could drain it and figure out that after it's sitting overnight for a certain amount of time on level surface, determine what your 57 ounces would be, and you could just drain it, put that back in. You'd probably be safe every time just by doing that method every so often, and draining it that much out without having to do the temperature thing. Temperature thing will get you more precise, but I would think, based on the fact that if you're going in with a known good quantity, you could do that as well, because overnight sitting for 15 hours, I think the pan drain, 15 minutes of draining, so there's no more draining, is probably going to give me 57 ounces every time. One other part I forgot here, there is a little gasket, a simple little gasket for the overflow plug here. That is replaceable. So you want to get that. And again, that part number is this for the 16 Highlander. This is the fill contraption I did. This is a 29/64 outer diameter vinyl tube with a 5/16 inner diameter, and this basically feeds down. Let me go to the car now. This basically will feed down by the battery in the front. Right down through here. You can feed it right down through a hole, which will give you access, or you'll be able to grab it and see it. And there's the WS bolt that you'll have to remove. That's a 24 millimeter. Before you get the car up on jack ramps or whatever you want to do, you can remove this little plate here. This is a little cover that fits up here like that to cover that spot. And there's two 10 millimeter bolts that you can remove to remove this. So you might want to remove this before you put it up on jacks and everything, just to give you good access to that bolt there. That's again a 24 millimeter. So once you remove that, you can feed this vinyl tube into there. You can hang up the funnel on a coat hanger like I showed there, and that'll allow you to fill it easily without getting having to do pumps from the bottom, which I see a lot of people do. I don't quite understand why they would go with that approach when you can feed it down and have gravity do it for you. So that feeds very nicely. You probably just want to stop every once in a while to allow the air to equalize in the system, and just make sure it's not leaking when you're putting it in there. But that tube fits in that hole nicely with a downward slant, so that it'll feed the fluid into the transmission easily. Okay, so just to show you what the looks like under here, there's our overflow bolt. Again, that's 6 millimeter. Got a crush washer there. If you take that off, again, that it gives you exposes the straw that I showed, the red straw, which is again a 6 millimeter. Those are the two that you would take out and measure, and then drain out and measure your fluid. Okay, so I didn't really show all that, but that's essentially what I did. I drained it all, 57 ounces. I filled it back with 57, and then I added another 8 or 9 ounces to overfill it. And now I'm going to start the car and use my scan gauge, temperature monitor here to get the temperature up to 104, 105. Then I'm going to remove the overflow plug, and hopefully that excessive amount that I have in there will start to flow out. And when I hit 17, 16, I'll put this back on after it's had a chance to kind of drain and have a small drip there. I'll replace that, and that is the level that I'll need, and I'll be finished. Okay, so we are at 100 degrees. I'm going to get ready to remove it. One thing I did is use a stick in my automatic seat position to move the stick forward to get the RPMs around 800, which is what they should be at for this procedure. It's 100 degrees now. Go ahead and loosen it enough. So yeah, the stick was, I don't know, 2 feet long. Stick it against the accelerator pedal and move the seat forward and back with the electric seats to get it about 800. It's 860 now. That's close enough to 800. It was down at 650 or something, so I thought, well, let's try and get it a little closer to 800. We're at 100 degrees now. This is just warm, obviously, not too hot. There's 102. There's 104. I'm going to go ahead and remove the plug. I'm expecting 8 or 9 ounces to come out. It's a little drizzle now. It's 105. Small drizzle. You can see that coming out. Now it's just dripping a little. I'm going for the hose. Wipe this off. It's 109 now. Tighten that up. 109. And it does look like let's see how much it came out. That looks to me about 4 ounces. So, I guess the lesson there is that it's probably probably needed a little more than what was in the car when I bought it. It basically stopped to a couple of drips when it was 105 degrees, so I think it's got a good amount in there now. So I would say if I put in 9 and 4 came out, it probably had about 5 ounces underfilled from the factory maybe. So the drain and fill, instead of 57 ounces, maybe 61 ounces would have been more appropriate. So anyway, I hope that helps explain this. Let me know if you have any questions, and have a good one.